our adventurer. You have defeated the knights of Moon's Path. You have traveled the far reaches of Skyshard into the deep roads, to the deep roads of the underground city of Mama. And now you face one of the most elite trials of your entire
Mama.
life. Even now, the legend reaches the bards as they create their poems and songs. You stand in front of the great fire giant Sozin. Around you, your party lays unconscious. Sozin stands between you and the helm of Tyanitis. A helm said to have the power of the great hero to those who wear it. What do you do?
Sick hat, bro.
Fire Sozin.
I tip my hat and I walk out.
Just walk out?
Yeah, because I can respect a man's hat game. Hi, I'm Joey. I am now a co-host on Slaying Dragons in the Morning, which you're watching on Twitch and maybe other things soon.
And I'm Hunter, of course, the other host of Slaying Dragons in the Morning. And welcome, good morning.
We talk about pop culture, and we talk about role-playing TTRPGs, tabletop role-playing games.
Yep.
And we talk about video games, and we talk about the scary eyes that you're going to see pop up behind me every so often. Don't worry about those. It's not a night creature.
That Joey knows of.
You know, we touch on some news here and there, but we get your day started. So grab a cup of coffee and tune in.
Our guest today, too, is none other than the CFO of New Vine Media, the wears his armor while he sleeps, the none other than Carter Ruttle.
Listen, sometimes you gotta wear armor in the middle of the night. If you're not scared of monsters fucking up your sleep, then you're not playing D&D right. That's all I'm saying.
Well, alright. Well, since we've been friends, we have been playing all kinds of games. TTRPGs and video games. And a video game that we have all been playing very much lately is Cyberpunk. We were super excited about this. Me and Joey on the first episode couldn't stop talking about it. And now we're going to talk about how we like or dislike things of it, our review, and how much we've all been playing it. Joey, how about you start?
All right. So I have it on PC. I've got 110 hours in currently on my first playthrough. I am at the point of no return mission. I'm just finishing up side stuff before I go and finish the game. I have been enjoying it. I wouldn't say it's like a groundbreaking masterpiece, but for me, it's on like the same level as like the Fallout games and Skyrim, and you know, it's in that same vein. I don't think it pushed past that. So I like it. It's good. I wouldn't say it's like a 10 out of 10. It's an 8.5, somewhere in that range. The modders are getting a hold of it, so that's going to improve it. That's a big reason I bought it on PC, is the ability to mod it. I am excited for where it can go because it's a beautiful looking game. They've got their sandbox constructed, so Cyberpunk multiplayer is going to be exciting.
Oh my god, yes.
I will say that there are a few specific things that disappointed me. The big one is very, you can't customize outside of the character customization screen.
Yeah.
There isn't obvious visual cyberware. Like, you see some really cool stuff on NPCs, but you can't, chrome yourself out. That being said, a lot of the cyberware is really fun though, like the pop-up guns and the mantis blades, the all the different leg variants that let you do double jumps and bouncing. One of the surprisingly good things I found about it is the parkour. Just because of the way that the city is built on so many levels, you can just, and I don't think it was ever intended to be a feature, but like I think the community has made the parkour aspect a feature in the game. Despite that, driving feels a little wonky. The cars feel a little too light sometimes, I think. But the story's really good. I'm enjoying that a lot. It's a deep story. There are a few bugs, but those, as they've released hot patches and fixes, those have gone down. For me on PC, they were never that bad to begin with, and I'm seeing less and less of them every time they release a new hot fix. So yeah, I've enjoyed it, but like I know last time we were like, yeah, this game is going to change gaming. I don't think it hit that level, but
no, there's
still the future of Cyberpunk that we might see some groundbreaking stuff come out of it. So
I think when we get online, it's going to be another thing too. I'm excited for
more worried about online than I am single player, honestly.
What about you, Carter? What's your feelings of Cyberpunk?
So I only have around like 35 hours in the game.
Pathetic.
It's not enough. Not enough.
So basically, I bought too many games this year, and I'm trying to balance playing all of them.
Oh my god.
So I played through one playthrough of like doing some side quests, but not doing a lot of them, and just doing like the main quest. And I enjoyed it a lot. I liked the combat. The gunplay is really smooth. I like the weaponry, and the crafting system is kind of cool. And the hacking is also pretty intuitive. You can the thing I like about this game is that the combat can be like very differing depending on how you want to play. Right? You can be very stealth and like not kill anybody or like kill very few people, or you can be like me who stealth kills and sniper kills everybody.
360 no scopes with their sniper rifle through the gang character.
And when stealth goes out the window, you pull out one of your 2 pistols that you're putting in your other slots and you shoot everybody.
Never mind.
But yeah, I like there's a lot of solid like systems involved in the game, but I definitely think that it can be improved, and I'm hoping the January like DLC, free DLC adds a bunch of things to the game. Yeah. I did enjoy the story. The story was really good. I enjoyed the romance options, or like the like getting to know characters and becoming like close friends with some of the characters, or even lovers. It didn't feel forced most of the time. It felt like sort of organic in the game, depending on your choices.
Yeah.
And that I liked a lot. That I feel like they did pretty well. And like, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. The car driving, I haven't had that much of a problem, but it definitely feels like a little wonky.
Why
you're
is
playing,
that? Yeah. Why?
So I'm playing on controller. You're playing on keyboard and mouse. Correct?
I'm playing on keyboard mouse. Yeah, I'm playing keyboard mouse, and I only do first person, so I don't third person drive. I only
See, he does everything the hardest possible.
I did also play the game on the second hardest difficulty. But
no, yeah, yeah. The game's pretty awesome. I think because Cyberpunk. Oh, go ahead. What?
One thing I didn't do that Joey did is I didn't touch cyberware, like things in my body. I didn't touch that the entire game, and I feel like I missed out. But I also feel like I was like, mostly I was afraid to go back to Vic and be like, hey, I don't really have the money to pay your eyeballs back.
Oh man!
But can I buy these way more expensive legs?
Oh man, that's really funny. I went and paid Vic back his money before we even went on the heist to go get the Johnny chip.
Oh, I finished the entire game and I never paid back Vic.
Oh my god, you're horrible. Vic is a good man. Oh man, never paid him back. I bet you made like 1,000 times more than that.
Oh, I definitely had the money by the end of the game to pay him back, but
Just never did. You're like, nope, not
I
paying you back.
forgot.
Oh,
Man. I want him to be on his deathbed, and I want like on his gravestone. I want to leave.
I'm 20,000 euro.
Oh,
Damn you, V.
Ah! So good. Yeah, I like the game a lot. I think it's really, really good.
Hunter, you were on Series X.
Yes, I'm playing. Yeah, I'm playing on Xbox Series X, which they say Xbox is the best place to play. At least that was their quote when they started making the game. It's really good. I mean, I honestly haven't seen really that many bugs. The only bugs I've really seen is when whenever a person, like, you go, not because there's not really cutscenes, but like, for example, when I first met Pan Am and she like is on the phone, she was walking around with the phone, but there was also a phone floating where she started. But then when she hung up, it went away. So small things like that pop up for me, but I had never really had a lot of like gameplay difficulties, which is cool. And I played it on console, so I like it a lot. Now, the other big thing, too, is, Cyberpunk is based off of the TTRPG. So my biggest thing that I wanted out of this game was roleplay. And I think some of the coolest roleplay options is the texting. When you get to text, like, people back and stuff and make decisions of what you want to say. That's really fun. I also like how whatever you pick as your backstory in the beginning of the game can affect a lot of the different dialogue and stuff you say during the game itself. And can make different outcomes and decisions based on the things you do. And I like how, I
like the skill tree.
The skill tree stuff is really cool.
The skill tree, like, role-playing aspect, where if you're, like, high enough. And
if you're strong, you can, like, intimidate people.
And that's exactly like on missions.
You can talk around.
Yeah, there's different ways you can do quests and missions based on how good you are at stuff. Like, if there's, like, a way to sneak out of somewhere after rescuing someone, if you're high enough tech, then you can go out the back door and unlock things. If you're not high enough in tech, but you're high in strength, you can just fight your way back through. Like, it's cool. You can do things in much different ways.
The door open.
Yeah, just all different types of stuff. I like that. I like that the role-playing, which they had promised, is there. Just like the role-playing game itself back when it was, like, extremely popular. And now, when we're playing it now, because we all are currently in a tabletop RPG for Cyberpunk 2077 that Joey DMs for us. That's really good. But yeah, I think it holds up to the role-playing aspect of the game itself. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that could be better, which we've already talked about, and there's no point in going back over it. My biggest thing being the customizations. I really wish there was more customization you could do. But, again, that could easily be fixed later. A multiplayer could fix that. Like, there's a lot of options. And I get why maybe you couldn't customize too much, because V was still technically the main character, and maybe there were specific things that had to be about you that you couldn't do to ruin the story. But, I don't know. There's a lot of options. But I'm excited for what more there can be done. But I love how it has kept to the role-playing aspect of the tabletop RPG. And that is D&D in our role-playing topics to talk about today. Let's talk about min-maxing. First of all, what is min-maxing? I think Carter should say, what is min-maxing, Carter?
Min-maxing is taking a character and optimizing it inside the rules of the game to the most optimal way to play. Like, the most optimal character to make. Like, if you were sitting down and you were trying to make, how do I make the most powerful action per turn character possible? That's min-maxing. Yeah. Basically taking every advantage you can, no bars held for RP or anything. Just trying to build the most powerful character you can.
When is it okay and when is it not okay to min-max?
I feel like there is no wrong way to play D&D, honestly. But I feel like if you don't want to have a bad in-group experience, you should talk to your group beforehand, honestly. If you're planning on min-maxing, I would go to your DM and say, hey, this is okay. I'm thinking about trying to do this. I've never done this before. I want to try it out. And then you see if it fits with like what he's trying to do and what the overall feel is. I feel like you should try to feel the room.
And DMs who are constantly overwhelmed are just like, yeah, whatever, I don't give a fuck. until 5 sessions in, they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
every time.
I know a lot of people who don't really get down with like the whole role playing aspect of the game. So They won't really have fun unless they're doing something mechanically. So min-maxing is a way for them to play their the game they want to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they might not role play, they might not like it, they might not know how, they might, and it's like, yeah, that's part of the game is role playing, but also for some people it's barely, right? So it's I feel like having an honest conversation with your group is the best way to start. I don't feel like min-maxing is inherently wrong, just because I don't think there's any wrong way to play D&D. I feel like if everybody's having fun, then you're playing D&D correctly.
Joey, you look like you have a very strong comment coming on. What do you have to say about min-maxing?
Oh, I wouldn't say it's a strong comment. Just like, what if you get into that point? You're like, the rest of your group is like, well, you're just killing everything in one hit. I don't feel like I have any agency. What do you do then?
I feel like the DM or people in the group need to have an honest conversation. I feel like almost everything in this world can be fixed through communication.
That's a good lesson. That is a good lesson right there.
If you're playing D&D
with
this person,
today's lesson.
Likely, if you're playing D&D with this person, you're most likely friends with them, or you're most likely closer to this person. Unless you're running like a one-off adventures, which I don't find a problem with people min-maxing, because you're playing it for one time, right? You're not going to play with this person again if you're in that way, or like you're playing with a different version of a character. And if they continue to do it throughout one-shots, and if you really have an issue, or if the group really has an issue with it, then that's time for honest conversation. And I feel like if someone's doing that, I feel like you should just talk to them and be like, hey, I noticed that this is happening. It feels bad for the other people involved because your character is optimized and their characters are less optimized in that fashion, right? I feel like you should tone it back a little bit and try to feel out feel out what the group is doing, right? And if they can't do that, then are they a good fit for your group? That's something you need to ask yourself. A hard question you need to ask yourself as a DM is this group a good fit for each other, right? Are they playing well? Is everybody having fun? If no one's having fun, or if people are upset, then something's wrong. You don't want people just sitting there not having fun for 3 hours.
That makes a lot of sense, Carter. You talk very, very well about this subject.
Okay. I have never min-maxed a character.
Oh man!
The thing is, with that character, I feel like he hit hard, right? But that's what he did.
He hit hard.
That's what paladins do. They hit really hard. Mm-hmm. But also, I feel like I RP'd as best I could in that character. I feel like even if your character is more optimized than other characters in the party, if you do a good job to RP with the party, and if you do a good job in making sure it feels like we're RPing and it's an actual character and not just a Scrabble on paper. For me anyways, I don't like purely just mechanical, right? I love RP and I love doing that. So something that's purely mechanical isn't really my cup of tea. So when it feel like if I have a character that somehow ends up more optimal because of items he gets, or of increasing ability scores and whatever, making more RP happen is probably what makes me happy, right? If to make it feel not just mechanic.
Another good segue: role playing. You know, when should you play to your backstory and not your skills? When should you make decisions based upon what your character has gone through, not what they can do? Joey,
this is something that I think, and it's part of nature of the beast, right? With role-playing games, and we ran into it a couple weeks ago, where long-term memory is an issue, and you'll go from week to week, you'll go from having your characters go through something very emotional in a session, or, be pushed to the point of death in a session, and then the next week you're like, shopping episode. Let's all go to the hot tub. Let's all go to the hot tub.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that part of that is just like time between sessions. Like either you have time to fume on something, or you forget sort of what you go through. And I think that's part of like a DM issue, is like resetting the scene and getting everybody back into that mindset, which can be hard because you come to the table each week fresh as a player.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance, because on one hand you want the game to continue forward, but on another hand you want your characters to make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like on one hand you want to progress the story and you want to progress like the game, but on the other hand you also want it not to feel fake.
Yeah, a lot of, I think when it comes down to role-playing stuff like that too, I would rather the encounter where it's very important to someone's, like if something is very important to role-playing, like this person has ruined your life or traumatized your character or your party in some way, just going in and killing them to kill them because you can with your skills shouldn't be the only thing you do. There should be some type of emotional resolution or some type of narrative to that, because in real life, if you're mad at someone, most of the time it's a build up. It's not let's go in and just beat this person up. It's there's a build up to that. You talk, you fight, there's a back and forth, there's prank for prank. I mean, there's so many different things. So being able to role play to make a narrative right, make your fight mean something, whatever, I think that's important. And I think sometimes sessions need to take that time out to do that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes like chaotic things happen, right? Though, like sometimes
yes,
things
like
happen that aren't like tied to you or aren't emotional, which like
sometimes you have to retcon stuff because you murder an innocent civilian. So.
I feel like that.
Nobody here.
I feel like that situation there was a very in-character reason though that wouldn't happen though. There was a very like that entire past few days. My character has been like, stop. I see that fucking look on your face. So I feel like it made sense that retcon made sense that I was able to do what I did.
Sure. That's in
fine. This case,
sometimes...
take a lightning bolt in front of a child.
Right. Yes.
It wasn't just like, oh, that didn't happen. Like there was an intervening moment.
So. Yeah, because it made sense in character that my character would do that because he's been doing it for like the last week because Bert was going insane. Because Bert is
also sometimes you don't know that a townsfolk has one hit point.
You forget that the world isn't as strong as you.
Let me roll this 8d6 lightning.
Average 33 hit points, which is probably more hit points than he has.
Taking role playing over using your skills, that's an important one.
It's definitely a balance, but roleplay is good. I think it depends group to group. There's definitely groups that are way less roleplay.
It depends player to player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like our group in particular is a little bit more like near the middle. Probably it leans depending on the day, but I feel like we have a good balance of we all like to like role play, but we know and we like some of the mechanics in fighting as well. So I feel like our group has a good balance of both. We've definitely gotten better on the role-playing part in this campaign compared to other campaigns.
Oh, for sure. I think role-playing is much better.
Which is definitely a thing that happens with practice. A lot of things in D&D happen with practice.
Yeah. I think another topic that brings us to is, we talk about all this role-playing and skills and stuff, but what about the little things? The little things that sometimes, characters forget or DMs have to take into account or whatever it is, things like, but not excluding, and just a random thing to think about. And it's, totally off the top of my head, is, characters that sleep in their armor, How does that affect them going
Well,
forward?
it depends on what kind of armor you're wearing. If you're wearing super light armor made by the baby elves for you to wear in your sleep.
I mean, I will say, I don't think that when they designed the armor, they were like, "Oh, people can totally sleep in this." It's still metal and doesn't move like it doesn't move like fabric.
So if it's good enough for J.R.R. Tolkien, it's good enough for me.
See, but he only does it like a couple times, and each time he does, he wakes up not rested. I mean,
Frodo's wearing a chain shirt. Harper's wearing plate.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Half plate.
That's still plate. I think chain shirts kind of move like fabric. Plate.
All I'm saying is all my characters sleep naked.
Every single one of them. Every one of them.
But I don't think I don't know. He started off wearing his armor to sleep every night, but I don't know if he does right now.
Yeah, that was leather armor though. It seemed a little bit more comprehensible.
No, he was wearing like scale mail. What do you mean?
I mean,
he was wearing medium armor since the beginning of this.
Yeah, he didn't get the half plate till more recently.
The half plate is still. I don't think it's a half plate. It's just a breastplate.
I mean, the plate's still in the name. I mean, it's plate.
I'm pulling up my D&D Beyond gear.
I'm pulling it up right now. Oh man.
It's half plate. Yeah.
Oh, see, look at that. It's half plate.
Half plate is still medium armor.
It's medium armor, but it's
you got the thigh pads, the gauntlets, the shoulder pads.
Pure metal. It's pure metal. That's not movable like fabric.
I'm not sure if he wears it though. But I feel like he's been feeling safer. It definitely was like a paranoid thing because Harper was like more paranoid at the beginning of the game.
Sure.
But has definitely gotten closer with everybody.
Bobo, get my baby powder. I'm chafing.
Yes. Oh man. So the question, with stuff like that, little details and things like that, how do DMs or characters for things like that, like let's go to the fact that we bring it up. Harper says the reason why he did it is because it's paranoia, right? He always feared potentially being attacked at night and stuff like that. How do we take that into account and also put it towards normal people shouldn't sleep with their armor on? What do that just doesn't seem
like it depends DM to DM.
Sure.
And some DMs care about more little things like that. Some less care. Like, when's the last time you counted an arrow?
Like never.
I try to count ammo, but
you count for like the first.
Why do you have coppers, and why are you counting your arrows?
Yeah, you care about like for like the first 2 sessions.
Do I have to count these Titan Slayer arrows then?
I feel like it depends DM to DM, but some things matter more. It's like choosing your battles, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You don't want to be nitpicky on every single little thing,
right?
But it depends. I feel like I don't know.
What do you think about little details, Joey? We got one from a mainly player perspective. How about a DM perspective?
And we haven't gotten deep enough into Cyberpunk yet where it's been an issue yet, but definitely like ammo counts are important, I think, because if you're just like I shoot and I shoot and I shoot and I shoot and I shoot,
we've become a movie at that point.
Right. Eventually you have to reload.
It depends on the system, I feel like, as well, right? Like
Cyberpunk is a more visceral, real system than D&D.
Yeah. D&D's
like for say you were doing Star Wars, if Star Wars still had a decent system, I wouldn't expect like, all right, what's your energy cell at for your blaster? I don't care. That's not what Star Wars is about.
When was the last time I saw someone reloading?
I think D&D can go either way, right? Like D&D can go either way. Like I think you can run that more as a survivalist game, if you're doing a lot of traveling and camping, I think that sort of tracking, like tracking of food, tracking of arrows and stuff, could enhance the gameplay, right? Like, are we going to make it to the next town before we're out of supplies? At the same time, if you're running more of a high fantasy, high magic, I don't think it matters as much. Like, you never expect Legolas to run out of arrows. Even if he does, he's pulling them out of bodies and
just grabs the next one. Yeah.
It depends on the group. Yeah, I feel like once again you should have a conversation with your group and be like, what kind of game are we playing here today?
Today's lesson, guys. Communication. Little details. I think it does come down to group. It comes down to, so I think it's a little bit of both too, right? Like Carter says, you got to talk to your group. It comes to that stuff. But then Joey brings up a good thing of like, how intense do you want to make this specific session or this game? Or I think little details can either become not a worry sometimes, and then you can make it a worry to intensify something.
Yeah.
I think
you also don't want to punish a specific class, because like specifically rangers and stuff, like, or if people are going for like an all archery thing, like I don't have to change the charge on my sword. I just get to hit things.
Yeah, there's that.
And like it feels bad, like for like high fantasy or whatever, not like a survivalist run, but like it feels bad if you're the only one having to track your resources when everybody else is like, I hit things, I whack things, or my spells reset on my long rest. But yeah,
it's tough. It is tough. Little details. You know what I was thinking about too with little details? What if people started tracking, in games you have to repair your items sometimes. How would you track regulars, because obviously magic swords can't deteriorate, but like regular swords, like how would you track that in D&D? Like you swing it 20 times and then it's less effective, like
swords are so durable.
There's oozes and stuff that do that'll
Right.
lower it, and it lowers it like a point, right?
Mhm.
Like you take a minus to it, and then they hit a certain point and they're considered broken. I like, stuff like that. I think is interesting. I don't know if I do it every time, but it gives people something to spend money on, because eventually you get to a point in most campaigns where you're like,
you got so much money, you can do whatever you want.
My 2 bags of holding are both full of gold and platinum.
I feel like that's where magic items, like there's a lot of cool magic items that like cost a lot of money, right? So if you're at that point, like,
yeah, but again, those are things that, like, do I really want to give one of these to my players because it can upset the balance of the force?
You don't give your players a deck of many things. You don't do that. Just don't. It's bad. It's bad. Don't do that.
It's bad. Don't do that. It's bad.
But there's also cool
if you
things
pizza
do,
when you're
like,
supposed to
later
French
on.
fry, you're gonna have a bad time.
Like if you have that problem where like you're higher level, right? You have almost all the money in the world. There's definitely things you can do to make sure, like if you want money to be like an issue, or if you want something like that to happen, townships, like if your characters if you're playing a good campaign and a township goes under, and like if there's a war going on, if they're heroes, they'll probably pay money to help the town out, right? Hopefully, or like rebuild a city, or like rebuild cities to like curry favor with the king, or like stuff like that. I don't know.
Sure, it makes a lot of
hirelings.
sense. Yeah,
That's my key tip. Hire hirelings.
Hire hirelings. Get yourself a shop in a city that
hire 30 hirelings. They go in 20 feet apart from each other in the dungeon, so that if a trap goes off, every 20 feet you'll have a new hireling.
There you go. Whoever survives gets the bonus.
No, they get to level up to level 1.
Oh, to level 1. Yeah. They get to be level 1. They get to be skilled hirelings. Oh, God. Speaking of dungeons and those things, there's this monster I know of that is the monster of the week. By the way.
Oh, my God.
Monster of the week. Didn't see that coming. That segue coming. who tends to dwell in caves and dungeons and things. And our monster of the week, Joey, what is our monster of the week?
It's a monster of the week that we should have done before dawn.
What?
Until dawn,
was
it's the
that an Until
Underdark
reference?
It,
Is that
it
an Until
was.
Dawn reference?
Yep, now I
It
got it.
was.
I got it now. That was good. I didn't catch that.
No,
That
it
was
wasn't. It missed completely.
I got it. I just didn't want to acknowledge it.
It's an Underdark Wendigo. What's it called? I don't forget what it's called.
It is a
Underdark
quaggoth.
Wendigo.
A
Right?
quaggoth.
It sounds like a bog creature.
Quagga.
Look at that swole boy.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, look at how good that. Oh,
You
look at
know,
that face.
You gotta eat a lot of your friends to get that swole.
The quaggoth, a savage in tutorial. Quaggoths climb the chasms of the Underdark.
Territorial.
What the hell did I say?
Tutorial.
Savage in
Hi guys, welcome to my tutorial.
Savage
on
and
how to eat
tutorial.
other people.
Savage and territorial. Quaggoths climb the chasms of the Underdark. They maul their foes in a frenzy, becoming even more murderous in the face of death. Quaggoths were never an enlightened species, but they were not always the brutal Underdark denizens they are today. In a distant age, Quaggoth tribes dwelled upon the surface as nocturnal, arboreal hunters, possessing their own language and culture. When elves appeared in the mortal realm, they clashed with the Quaggoths, eventually driving them to near extinction. Only by fleeing deep into the Underdark did the Quaggoths survive. As they passed the ages deep beneath the world, the Quaggoth's fur lost its color and their vision adapted to the darkness, even as the constant danger and weird magic of their new realm transformed them. Turning increasingly brutal and savage, they ate whatever food they could find. And when they could not find it, they preyed on each other. As cannibalism became part of their culture, their past was abandoned. The ancient enmity between Quaggoths and surface elves makes them easy converts to the dark elf cause. In recent years, the Drow have taken interest in breeding Quaggoths, encouraging their ferocity while strengthening their obedience. Wealthy Drow houses have legions of Quaggoths at their command. Even worse, the Drow cultivate the Quaggoths' hatred of the elves by leading them on surface raids against known elven enclaves. Man, that's yeah. Some Quaggoths absorb psionic energy. That's psionic energy that subsists certain parts of the Underdark. When a tribe discovers that one of its own has inherited such powers, they press it into the role of tribal shaman or a Thanaut. Not to be confused with a thought. It's the Thanaut. A Thanaut keep a tribe's lore and ensures its superiority against enemies. A Thanaut that fails the tribe is slain and devoured in a cannibalistic ritual in the hope that its power passes to another, more worthy Quaggoth. Also, generations of hunting venomous subterranean creatures.
Are you sure it's not thought?
You know what? At this point, maybe. Generations of hunting venomous subterranean creatures and perpetual exposure to the mods and fungi that grow in the depths have forced Quaggoths to adapt immunities to poisons of all kinds. So interesting. These Quaggoths are great beasts, ferocious in nature, and have a very rich history, but also have become basically the Throns and minions of Drow. And Drow... No. Oh, what did I say? Throns? I meant thralls. Sorry.
Throns.
Yeah, the Throns. They have become the blue moth of the space world. They are blue, so it's close enough.
Holy shit.
The thralls of Drow, and Drow use them
Conspiracy.
as tools.
Conspiracy confirmed.
Thrawn is a
Quaggoth.
Thrawn is a Quaggoth? Yeah. Not Thrall.
No, none of us can talk. Oh, God, this has gone on too long.
Joey, as a DM, in your expert opinion, where would be the best place you'd find some Quaggoths?
They're like in a cave.
Nice.
Buy. They're in a cave by elves so that they can go out and get them. They got to go out and get them.
And they kidnap elves and bring them back and eat them and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
Buffalo style.
Carter, let's get your best improv. Give us an adventure that would involve Quaggoths, a quest.
So what you could do is you could have either an expedition down into a cavern of some sort, or what you could have is your adventurers come upon a town that is an elfin town, and they're staying the night, and at the nighttime there's a raid.
At the nighttime.
You can sort of theme this like sort of campaign out over like the underworld coming up, and like the adventurers have to fight back the drow and ascending Quaggoths, basically. That's what I would do. Is I would have
what if
the Quaggoths come to ambush an elven town instead of your adventurers going down, because that's sort of like expected. You're like expecting to like hit into drows.
What if your adventurers come to an elven town that's abandoned?
I like that.
And there's signs of a raid. They're like, "Whoa, what happened here?"
And
I
then
don't know. And then they come to another town, and that town's not abandoned, but like they're like, "Hey, you know, we've been
having some problems."
Or they don't say anything. They're very just untrusting of the party when they show up. And it's like, man, this town feels real empty.
Of course, one of the people in the party is a drow, and then it gets even more complicated.
Oh my god, who would play a drow?
Yeah, who would do that? Who would do that? One thing a Quaggoth does that's pretty interesting as a trait. While it has 10 hit points or fewer, the Quaggoth has advantage on attack rolls. In addition, it deals an extra 2d6 damage to any target it hits with a melee attack. So the closer it is to death, the stronger it gets. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The beast itself, Quaggoths, are challenge rating 2. But I guess if you wanted to up that challenge rating, you could up the threshold of that Wounded Fury. You know, instead of it being only 10 hit points or fewer, because then it could just die like the next turn, you can be like, you know, when it's 30 hit points or fewer, it starts getting this Wounded Fury if you want to up the challenge rating.
Usually when you upscale a monster, you like upscale either its AC or hit points, or both. So you could do that and also like up its AC by a few points or up its HP by...
Yeah. They also have a variant for the Thanaut, which a Thanaut, by the way, has psionics. It can innately cast a bunch of different things. It can cast Featherfall, Mage Hand, Cure Wounds, Enlarge, Reduce, Heat Metal, and Mirror Image. It's challenge rating 3. And it goes up one more.
Heat Metal.
Yeah. Interesting.
Cast that on Mithril Armor.
Heat you up while you sleep. Teach you.
Then you don't need a blanket. You don't need a blanket then. You're
Nice
just
and
like
toasty.
heat metal.
Teach you a lesson you won't soon forget.
I don't know. I think it's like a cool monster. I haven't really heard of Quaggoths because I haven't done like most of like
Carter and I hadn't heard of them, so
yeah. The only thing like I've had experience with like is mind flayers and like stuff like that, and drows, I guess. But I haven't heard of like Quaggoths.
yeah. Whenever anybody does Underdark, they're like, "All right, there's some drow or there's a mind flayer."
I think it's time to say goodbye here soon. You know, it's
time for so long.
But yeah, you know, Carter, how's your time been today? Have you had a good time this morning?
Thanks for.
I feel like your morning started now.
No, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Just gonna go back to sleep. Man, this pandemic's really changed a lot of.
How will you
sleeping
be able to
schedules.
sleep with the anticipation of potentially playing D&D tonight?
Oh yeah, thank you so much for being here. You've been such an amazing guest.
Thanks
Until-
for having me.
Of
I'll never
course.
see you guys again.
Sorry we had to put you on blast like that.
You know, so we really put you on the spot. Is
I
there
feel
anything?
like I had a very good, conversation about
An honest conversation.
an honest conversation.
Communication. Today's lesson. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Carter? Anything else?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Is there, can you say that again? Is there anything you'd like to say to the people? Anything, where can people find you if they want to find out the cool things you do?
I don't really do anything right now.
What do you mean? New Vine Media. I thought that was the thing.
Yeah, check out New Vine Media. I'm working with them right now.
Yeah, you're like the CFO, man.
We have streams every other Friday doing music stuff. Different artists and stuff. So that's fun. Doing some big things with them in the next year. So excited.
Sweet.
Maybe I'll start Twitch streaming this year. I don't know.
Sweet. All right, Carter. Well, thank you so much. You've been great. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope everything else is good. And I hope we can play some D&D tonight. Hopefully. Bye, Carter.
Bye.
So, Joey, we've had such a wonderful day today, have we not? What a wonderful morning.
The day is only just getting started.
It is.
I guess it's technically afternoon now.
It is now the afternoon, and that's why it's no more slaying dragons in the morning. That's why we have to end, because it's no longer the morning. Couple of things, now that we're at the end of the show.
Slaying dragons in the afternoon.
So, you know what I just realized? This entire time, or at least right now, my name is under your picture, and your name is under my picture. I think that's only for the screen anyway, but it's fine. It's fine. That's my fault because I didn't change them around correctly. Anyway, but yeah, guys, this is the new format for Slaying Dragons in the Morning. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna have me and Joey are hosting this, and we're gonna have our friends on and talk to people. If you guys want, you obviously can tweet at us or Instagram or whatever you want, and hit us up, ask us questions. Also, if you look in the About section, there's some links in the Twitch About section. There is now a Discord community chat for Slaying Dragons in the Morning. If you actually go ahead and click on that, you can get invited into our community chat, and you can ask us questions from there and talk to us and see what's going on and all types of different stuff. It's really cool. But you guys can jump in. It's a really nice chat and talk with like-minded people. Right, Joy?
Right.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Joey? Anything else you have for the people?
Well, I wanted to say that in August I would also like to say I'm hopefully going to have some art and gaming content going up on YouTube, so keep an eye out for that. Tutorials, speed draws, that sort of stuff.
You can always watch Slaying Dragons on YouTube if you weren't able to catch us live. That as well.
Be kind to each other. It's a new year. Maybe dare to lean centrist in the new year, and just be good to one another.
Yeah, be kind, rewind.
Be kind, good. Rewind.
Be good to one another.
Rewind to like 1985.
Well, thank you all for taking time out of your day and watching us this morning and getting your morning started with us. Have an adventurous day, and don't stop slaying those dragons. Bye, everybody.
Later.